Hey guys, want to do a quick video on Sierra chart styling. So I kind of like to mess around with this just for fun when I'm bored, but you may want your charts to look a lot better and so they don't look so ugly by default. So right now I'm just going to create a new chart book, and then I'm going to insert just one chart for now. Later I think I'll add in more just so you can kind of grasp what I'm trying to show you. But first you can see, like, if we have this chart by default, it looks pretty ugly, and you can do quite a few different things. So up here in chart, you can do graph draw types. You can keep it at open, high, low, close, or change it to candlestick bars. Sometimes I actually like open, high, low, close bars. But if you're going to want to style it and you want to make it look better so it doesn't look ugly like this, what you can do is go to chart and then graphic settings right here. And everything is going to be on the default. And you can see right here it says use global graphic settings instead of these settings. That means it's just going to use the global. No matter what you change in here, it's not going to change anything on the chart. But once you untick this box, now everything you change in here will change on here. So I'll show you a lot of the things that I like to change when I'm trying to style my charts is, like, I'll change per se the background color. And so now you can get a different background color. So like, let's say we change it to white, and then we can change, we would want to change all the text color for the chart values and the time values so that they contrast. And then also the chart text, you want it to contrast. So if the background's white, you're going to want that to be black, or some whatever contrasting color you like. And then as you can see, the bars are still the same color. So to change the bars, if it's open, high, low, close, you can change them here where it says bar high, low, down, bar high, low, up, bar open, bar close. So if we want to change that, let's say we want to change that to being all black, we can do that. Go in here, change these to all black. And same thing would go if you were trying to change here with the candlesticks. Up outline, up fill, down outline, down fill, etc. And you're going to probably need to learn all of this, but a lot of this is where you'll get the styling for, like, time and sales, the DOM, and then all this other stuff. And then here you can also go in and change the fonts. So for, like, say the chart text, let's change the font, and so you can see what it looks like. Let's change it to something weird, Show Card Gothic. Now you can see everything changed to the Gothic font, and then we can go back and change it maybe back to something more normal like this. And then you can also change the font size, which is very important too with the DOM. So, like, let's say you're on the DOM and you can't see the numbers. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to lower this so that you can see more, so that the font size is smaller, kind of like this. But for this chart, it probably looks best up here at like 12 to 14. So you're going to want to kind of mess around with this if you want to make things look different. And then here you can kind of change the candlestick width and some other stuff. And that's about it for the graphic settings. So you're going to have to go in there, figure out what you like, and then fiddle around with it. And then for coloring, I like to use different websites. So there's a website called colordesigner.io dash gradient generator. So I'll show you here. So we have a gradient generator, and this is what I like to use for my footprint when you're creating a gradient based on, like, the different ratios or percentages. What I'll like to do is, for example, if you want a red, what you can do is do a gradient of red, and then from light to dark, and you can change this so it's only showing you a certain amount of gradients. And then you can, let's say, have this is the darkest, this is lighter, this is lighter, and this is a lighter one, right? And you can do the same thing if you're trying to do a green or blue, right? You can figure out what your gradient is, choose how many you want, and then you can copy these RGB values. So let's say I was going to do that for the numbers bars, right? I would go to numbers bars, and once you add it, I would just go into here and change these values of these this, like, gradient right? These green, you could create your own green or like do blue or red and change this gradient, and you can kind of fiddle around with those. And that's what I kind of like to do, is kind of like to look at those, make a gradient and then put that in so it looks a lot better rather than trying to guess different colors. And then the next thing is, by default, your charts are going to look pretty ugly, especially when they're detached like this. So like, let's say we copy this chart 4 times, right? We're going to duplicate this. You can see we have this bar up here, which can be kind of annoying. You may like it, you may not, but having this X, minimize, maximize, and that stuff may not be what you want. So I'm going to go up here to window, and you can do quite a few things. You can tile as a grid horizontally, and I think these will both be the same since we only have 4 charts, and then you can tile vertically, and you can do quite a few other things. But these can be helpful also for styling so that it gets it perfect and it tiles it however you want. So I'm going to put it like this, and I'm going to show you how to remove this right here, because to me this doesn't look quite as pretty as having this gone. So I kind of want to get rid of this, use my extra space. So you're going to click on the chart you want, go to chart, and then at the bottom here we have show title bar, and that's what that is. That's the title bar. If you uncheck that, it's going to go to be like this. And you can also remove the scroll bar or remove the show menu. So you can remove the scroll bar at the bottom if you like. I usually just keep the scroll bar on, but for now I'm going to show you, just have it like that. And so now you can see it's going to start looking a lot better, a lot more crisp, and a lot less like weird with having those title bars at the top. So once you have those removed, now it's looking a lot better, and voila. So those are some of the things that I like to do. Mess with the color scheme, go here into graphic settings, change a lot of the colors around, maybe change the fonts and the font sizes, and then also you can go up here to the chart like I showed, and then remove the title bars and the scroll bar if you like. And that way things will just look a lot more crisp, especially if you have more than one chart. If you have one chart, it doesn't really matter, since let's say we have this chart with the show title bar, right, but we have it maximized. It's not even going to show the show title bar. It's not going to really matter unless it's minimized. So once it's minimized again, that's where it doesn't look quite as good, especially if you have like a grid of a few charts organized. But that's pretty much it. That's just like a simple run through of what I like to kind of do, kind of like to change around. And you're going to have to figure out, especially with the graphic settings, because I don't want to go through all of these. There's so many settings that you can change in terms of styling. You're just going to have to figure out where they are. And it's pretty easy. Like you can see chart DOM. So all these are chart DOM, time and sales, DOM graph, scroll, candlestick, bar open, close, etc. So those should be pretty easy. But that's about it, what I like to do.